Welcome back to Midlands Rugby Pod, Phil. How are we getting on?
I'm very well, mate. Think I've got my second round of COVID at the moment, which is superb. So I'm housebound and feeling pretty rough. But other than that, the kids are asleep, roof's out, party on.
You're never happier. You
Yeah,
actually, with COVID, it means you can't even socialise. So you're even happier
that is me.
you just got yourself in a room. And we've got an exciting guest today, Josh Smalley. Josh, how you getting on?
Hello, yeah, really good, thank you.
Good. You've just been talking to us about your mad week. Do you want to explain to the listeners who you are and why your week has been mental?
Yeah, so I am Josh of this season's Great British Bake Off, which has been running the last few months, and yeah, made it all the way through to the final. Had a pretty good innings, pretty consistent throughout, and yeah, been brilliant. Got to showcase all of the things that I love to do um, in a lot of my bakes. So I've gone down my chemistry route or my gardening route, but also I've done a lot of mentions of my of rugby as well, whether that be for my club, which is Syston, or the team I support, which is the Leicester Tigers.
Yeah, I saw you had a trip out at Tigers this week. How was it?
Yeah, fantastic. Got invited by TML solicitors into their super box for yesterday's match and watched Tigers. That was a pretty incredible experience. That was wonderful. Really enjoyed it.
Different to standing out in the stand, I imagine.
Yeah, it's very different. Go into there and it's this lovely warm room, food and everything, and then all the windows just like concertina up, so you just open them all out, and then the atmosphere of the actual stadium comes in. It was yeah, amazing.
Are you allowed back in Welford Road yet, Phil? Or
I was there the other week for a corporate do, actually.
oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm allowed in. I've got I've got no beef with Leicester Tigers. One of their former England players, maybe, but I think bygones have been bygones. I played on the hallowed turf post incident with said World Cup winner. So uh, they've obviously missed me. Obviously not big enough name to be able to slip under the radar.
I'm not sure Backy remembers you, mate.
I'm not sure Backy's there, mate.
Nowhere near there. Nowhere near there. Um, Josh, obviously we'll move on to Bake Off in a bit, but how did you get into rugby?
I've played it since well, we've always been lifelong supporters of the Tigers. And then, yeah, I started fairly late actually, but on the age groups. I started when I was about 12,
Right.
and I started at Syston, and I've been there ever since. So I think I'm into my 16th season there now. But yeah, well, from 12s, under 12s all the way through till now. So I stayed there all the way throughout. My brother is a couple of years younger than me, but also a lot bigger, a lot bigger. About a footballer, a lot wider, about 4 or 5 stone heavier. He's a prop. I'm a back. But yeah, and we play in the same team together at Syston. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. That's
Which team's that, Josh?
Syston thirds, which are we say we're a social team, but we're not. We play a very very high caliber, playing more in the actually Leicestershire area. But we've got into a really really good league, really really competitive every weekend. We only train the once a week because we're all sort of like either tied down with families or work and stuff. But it's yeah, fantastic setup, really really close knit group. Brilliant.
Yeah, we've had we've been in and out of Syson's league quite a lot in the last 10 years. Obviously, they're in the level above us at the moment, but always a lovely club to go to, always a good game, and always a strong team at Syston,
Mm-hmm.
and another one of those Leicestershire clubs that really do sort of prop up the Tigers area quite nicely.
No,
is
yeah, definitely.
is the because you've come all the way through. Are there a lot of lads that have come all the way through at Syston?
Um, from my lot, I mean, obviously, you had more recently had the Deacons were Syston. Trying to think who else. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, no, but yeah, I know the Deacons were the most notable ones I can remember of recent. But loads of Syston players go through and play county level and really, really high level rugby. Yeah, fantastic breeding ground for really good players.
Yeah, great facilities as well. Really good
Yeah,
facilities.
fantastic.
Apart from, I think it's your second team pitch. Every time I've been, has always been underwater, but the first team pitch has been absolutely fine. I don't really understand how that works, but
No, yeah, it's perfect.
rushing the water over to the second.
Yeah, well, we didn't. Well, my game was cancelled the weekend because of the rain. Yeah,
Yeah,
You're quite low lying, aren't you, at Syston? You're quite,
yeah, it doesn't take much till it all goes. But
yeah.
also they protect them very well. So as soon as if it's they don't want to mess them up. So that's why they look so good because we can't play on them.
I bet that was that a welcomed break with the week that you knew you were coming into.
Yeah,
Mental.
exactly. It was actually. Yeah, I've just been doing I had a big cake request for this weekend. I just took it in today for the vice chancellor of the university. He had a very big meeting on. They wanted a Christmas themed cake, and I've done that, which has served about 60, 70 people. I don't do a lot of cake, so it's quite a big task for me. But yeah, actually, I welcomed no game on Saturday, so I had a bit of time to do it.
Can imagine. When did you stop? Out of interest, when did you stop recording for Great British Bake Off?
And the final was the first week in July, so it's quite a while back.
Oh wow! So
Yeah,
you
quite a while.
you've
Yeah,
had to be quiet for all that time.
yeah, and the first week was filmed in the last week of April. So yeah, it spanned quite a bit. And last week in April it was bitterly cold, bloody freezing.
Yeah.
So that's why we're all in jumpers in those early weeks because it really was cold. And we start very early in the mornings as well. Filming like from we get in the tent about 7 in the morning, film finish with 7 in the evening. And obviously 7 o'clock in end of April it was about 4 or 5 degrees. It's horrible.
Good. But since you've stopped the recording, obviously you've sat on it. Were you always making cakes for, well, or taking orders and baking for other people, or is it now you've finished? Everyone's like, "Oh, do you mind if you just made?"
Yeah, I've always baked. I got into baking because I love to bake for people because it's always a good thing to get people together. So whether that's family at home or work colleagues, I take bakes in for the rugby lads usually about once a month. So one training session a month after we've finished on the pitch, come back in and I'll bake something for the changing rooms, and then we'll have those in there, and someone will get a few jugs in. Just a bit of fun. We always get a lot of numbers at those training sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I might be stealing that idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, it's really good.
Phil, mate, your baking may not be up to Josh's standard.
Oh no, I'm going to Tesco on the way back, like on the way through.
Yeah, I was going to say, please don't try baking something because you'll waste most of your time. Just quickly back to rugby. What's were you playing with throughout were you playing while you were recording, or was it because it was mostly out of season? You got away.
Actually, it worked perfectly. So I played the last game of the season mid-April, and then a week or two later it was the first week of filming, and then that ran all the way through the summer months when I wouldn't have been playing, and then we had the final, and the next week our summer training started back. So it was absolute perfection. So I literally just stopped rugby, wait for 2.5 months, and then started rugby again. So it worked really well.
Literally, that's amazing, isn't it? Play rugby and then bake and then eat what you've baked.
Yeah.
You have to eat a lot when you're on Bake Off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this year's not been a good year. I need to go on a few. I need to get a few runs in. I think over Christmas. No, and it got to a point though where you just couldn't face it anymore. We've binged that much stuff because there's only so much you can take of it. And when you made the same thing 3 times in the same week, you just can't face it anymore. And I couldn't bring it into people because then it gives the game away what I'm. No, because these elaborate things that I'm making, if I suddenly waltz that into the office, I think, bloody hell, Josh, what are you up to? It's quite a step up to the usual stuff that I bring in. Um, so a lot of it got binned.
That's mad, isn't it? That like I know it is all secret and obviously filmed pre-hand, but you would think they'd find a way of sort of distributing the cake out somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could have sort of like sliced it all up and try and give it out. But yeah, like I say, you got to a point because you were so stressed with it all. You thought, right, that's part done. Right, then chuck that out of the way now. Got to go and film next day. So yeah, it was really hard. The prep was hard, but then the week leading up to each week's filming was so much work because I was still working full time, 9 to 5, and I was having to find time to bake in the evening. So I'd work, come home, eat something quickly, and then I'd be baking for 4 or 5 hours solid till about 1 in the morning.
Oh,
And then I'm getting spoonfuls of stuff, take it around the house, all family and say, look, eat this. What do you think of this? What does it need? What should I change? And then turn the oven off and you finish at 1 in the morning, get up and then you go and work the next day. And that's the whole week. And then we travel down Friday afternoon to go to the tent, and then we film Saturday, Sunday. And then if you get through that week, you just repeat again. You come back and then work next day. So it was so much work.
I
That
think
does sound brutal.
It really was. And that's why when you look at the later weeks, if we look tired, we are. We really are.
you ever get to the point where, and you can be honest, I imagine, and if you don't want to answer, or you do want to answer, but you want me to delete it, I happily will. But do you ever get to the point where you go, do you know what? Don't care. Don't want to win. Can't be bothered.
I never got to that stage. I mean, fortunately, I think I did a lot of good preparation because you get you sort of some of the bakes up front before you actually started the filming. So I think I prepared pretty well. So everyone said to me actually on it, says Josh, you were so calm whilst you're on the show because I wasn't really flustered. I was pretty organised, knew what I was going to do. So it was just about tweaking it in the week. Well, I know some of the other bakers did find it really quite tough when we got to those later weeks because if they hadn't really practiced their bakes very much, that whole week was spent creating a bake.
I think I naively thought that you recorded throughout the week, so you'd be in a kind of kitchen that they provide, and you would just stay in there. You'd film on a Wednesday and then a Thursday, and then chill, and you weren't working. I couldn't even comprehend doing something like that with a full-time job as well. It'd be mad.
Yeah, no, full-time jobs. All my annual leave's gone on baking this year. I have no holiday. I can't wait for Christmas.
Amazing, amazing. I genuinely watched the whole series because my girlfriend and I love cake and she likes watching Bake Off. But I could literally sit there and talk about Bake Off for hours. But
This is the first year I've not watched it.
Is it?
Yeah, the absolute irony that we've got Josh on, and this is the first year I've not got around to, because I think it was on Tuesday night. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tuesday night we're at training, and then Wednesday night
Well, we're doing this sometimes.
we're doing this normally. So I just ran out of time for it.
Yeah, well, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched every episode the last few years. I usually dip in and out a little bit, but I think it's the same for most of the people I find at work and at rugby probably don't watch it that much. But obviously, this year all the lads have been invested and it's been really funny because literally as soon as it hits Tuesday 8 o'clock, the group chat just suddenly just kicks off because they're all watching it. And yet I know in years gone by, there's not a chance any of them are watching Bake Off, but they're all out there glued to the screens, all watching it. So it's been really, really funny. And then they got their running commentary as we go through. So it's been really.
How much abuse did you get? Like, oh, he's fucked it. He's fucked it. He's going.
Yeah.
Going.
Oh no, he's pulled it back. Oh, all right, you're safe. As we're going through, so yeah, plenty of that. And they've been really good at training, though. Actually, I thought I was going to get a bit more abuse, but I haven't. And actually, games on a Saturday, people hardly noticed, which is great. I thought I was going to get loads of abuse.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. What's it been like on the pitch? Because I know what some people be like. A load of our lads, even if they watch Bake Off, will go, let's try and get in his head here.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure there is any baking related banter you could give on a rugby pitch, is there? Like,
no, not really.
Got to the final of a national competition, and you're playing against people playing level 6, 7, or 8 of the RFU league system. It's like, yeah. Apologies, I did achieve something this year.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually.
I would struggle to slander you for baking.
But it's been great banter afterwards, actually. So the last few weeks, I've finished the game. Then some of the away team running over to me, won a few selfies. Had a cracking one down at Syston a few weeks back. Went to watch the Vets game, Syston versus Obi Wigs, and that was a great one because I was obviously just going there as a watcher this time as opposed to actually having to play. Great chat to all the home and away supporters on the touchline. Clubhouse afterwards, got all the Wigs chaps that have been playing the game, all wanting to come and have selfies because they say, "Oh, my missus loves watching Bake Off. She's going to be so jealous. Can I have a quick photo?" Yeah, sure, of course you can. So it's been great.
We'll have to start charging, mate. That's what I do. I charge £10 a photo.
I should do, shouldn't I now?
I've made
when you're opening your OnlyFans, Josh, is that?
I'm on Cameo now.
Oh, that's really. How many followers did you have before Bake Off on Instagram?
200. Now it's about 30,000. So
I looked just before we got on, it's 31.2. So
yeah,
you've
awesome.
gained 31,000 followers. That's mad. That's mad. Anyway, rugby, how's the season going?
Yeah, it's good. We've gone up into a even higher league now for us. So it's now like calling it's now a Midlands League. So we're travelling far and wide, between Kettering, Oundle, etc. All second teams. So and we're doing pretty good start really. We haven't actually played that many games, I don't think, in that league. Probably 6 or 7, but yeah, really good start. Yeah, so we've got a really settled squad now. So it's been yeah, we know each other's game inside out, and it's been really good.
Just having a look at the league now. It's
Yeah.
Oundle's under 23, so
Yeah, it's about the same. They've created a new league altogether. I can't find it on there. It's that it's kind of, but yeah, no, it was but yeah, really good. Playing, yeah, like I say, we play a really good game of rugby each weekend. And yeah, just cracking, really good.
That's brilliant. I mean, that we know Oundle quite well, and their under 23s slash second team is pretty good. And that'll be a good league. And like you say, you're not having to travel a million miles, which is exactly what you need when, like you say, you've got a nice squad of players at that level to ensure that you get a game every week
Yeah,
that
no,
you are on, essentially.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we struggled a bit this week, didn't we, Tom, for players? But we were scratching around a bit this week because we've got people disappearing off on holiday and stuff. So if you can get sort of a group here, and I know Syston's got about 5 teams, doesn't it, or something ridiculous?
Yeah, well, threes and fours we do together. We've got more players than the ones and twos have. We've got. I think that means that we can have weeks when there's you can have 10 lads missing and we can still get 30 odd out. So yeah,
That's phenomenal.
so yeah, the senior teams at Syston put out. We get 4 senior teams out most weeks when we can. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
that's class. That's unknown now, isn't it? Really,
Yeah,
there's
especially after COVID, there's a really dropped the numbers. But yeah, we don't do 4 every week. We've usually got the players available. We struggle to find games really because the strength in depth now at Syston. Nobody wants to play us because I know we're a thirds team, but we can beat quite a lot of twos and first teams that are around locally.
Yeah.
Because we play really good brand rugby, so nobody wants to lose to a thirds team. So we struggle when we're not in a league to get matches.
yeah, we had that a few years ago actually. When the third team was the third team because we lost the third team and now have a new third team effectively. But we got to the point where teams were putting first teams out against us, so they were postponing until there wasn't a game for their ones or their twos, and then overloading it. Which, as much as you are, you can be a good third team when your prop average weight is about 20 or 22 stone and the average age is 40 from your front row. You're not going to beat young people all the time. But no, I'm glad you're having a good season. Are you enjoying it as well this year?
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. And the only bit for me actually, probably, but I don't think my post kicking has been not quite as good as usually. But I put a lot of pressure on myself this year because I've been on Baker, I feel like eyes are watching. Then probably actually not. It's probably just me, but it's the first time I've never had pressure like that because just new to just a nobody on the pitch. Whereas now I feel like people got eyes watching. So that's been something that I've had to sort of get used to a bit this season. It's been much better now. It's had a couple of wobbly weeks a few weeks back when it was like it was a tight week on Bake Off or whatever. It wasn't one of my best weeks on there. I felt like I had to go and prove it on a pitch. So yeah, there was that pressure that's never had anything like that before.
No, that's interesting actually. I'd not thought of that. Phil, because obviously you played in front of people, did you ever notice it at all? Like when you first were captained or anything like that? Did you feel the pressure of having to perform?
Yeah, yeah, you do. The I find it. I still feel the pressure quite a lot because I'm playing and head coach, and you
Yeah,
know,
if you play
the-
shit, it's
quite a bit. Yeah, if I do shit, then it's really hard to slag everyone else off. So,
you still find a way.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you got best form of defense is attack, isn't it? It is difficult, and like Josh says, like he's got a bit of a target on his back, being this Bake Off contestant that's come out of the woodwork, and and opposition teams are obviously aware of it. But I don't have to kick a goal, so my pressure is more about not looking awful or dropping the ball or stuff like that. And luckily, I'm half decent at that bit of the game. But yeah, if I was to kick a goal, I'd probably be cacking my pants too.
Yeah, because you can't kick.
Not
It's
anymore.
it's funny though because we played Walsall on. Well, I can still never say Walsall. Walsall, southern accent comes through Walsall, and all the lads were mentioning Max Brown, weren't they? Who's obviously got loads of followers on YouTube, TikTok, puts a load of content out there. And Josh, obviously, you're probably known and watched by a hundredfold of what of who people know Max Brown with. But it's probably because even though you're on Bake Off and you're a rugby, you came across really quiet. Held the rugby values in the tent as well, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. Yeah.
Because I think that some other people who are not Max Brown specifically, I don't actually watch what he does, um, but it's some people come across really arrogant, and you had that none of that about you, so you probably won't get anyone that's trying to shut you down in that sense, whereas other people will. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think I definitely would. No, again, I don't watch the Max Brown stuff because it just doesn't interest me. But um, if someone's even if it's a player who is just arrogant on the pitch
Yeah,
for no reason, you do kind of want to put your marker down on them, don't you, a little bit? So
Yeah, definitely.
I've learned that because I'm relatively arrogant in myself as a persona. Not normally. I'm a very fragile, vulnerable young man, but I also can't back it up. So
all fart and no poo.
all fat and no clue. And that's that yeah. Um, so like you said earlier, you've had a busy week. What do you think the next few weeks are going to hold? You still hope to be able to play rugby? You keeping your Saturdays free just to make sure you can get out and you can put all the business in the week.
Yeah, there's no way I'm stopping rugby. I think that's probably the hardest bit in the last few weeks because it's been such a busy week and I've been doing so much stuff. I've not been able to do as much practicing. I've always been religiously a very, very hard practicer, do loads of training, and I think that's what's fallen off a bit. Then so I don't get that rhythm bleeding into a match at a weekend. I've not been able to practice quite as much. But yeah, no, I'm always going to keep playing. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but I've had lots of really interesting discussions and things across all sorts of things in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, next year should be an exciting year. Had a story with England Rugby early this week, so that was lovely. And then hopefully going to do something with the Leicester Tigers in the new year as well.
Oh, amazing. Oh, so it's opened up a lot of doors in things you're actually interested in as well, rather than
But yeah,
just getting.
that's what I was really hoping for is that it wasn't just the baking. It was the baking twinned with a lot of the other things that I did, which is the big bit of what I was trying to do on Baker. I tried to showcase what my interests were to try and people could engage with it. So I'm not surprised at all that rugby's picked up on it because rugby is that sport, isn't it? There's always been that family inclusive sport, and everybody gets on with everybody. So I'm not surprised one bit that England Rugby have wanted to do something and the Tigers want to do something because it's just that's what rugby's all about, isn't it?
It probably means that you can get to avoid like having to go and adjudicate really average village show
Yeah,
cake baking as
exactly.
well. I mean, that would absolutely break me. Like 6-year-old Doris from Syston has bought in this raspberry cake, Victoria sponge, and you're like, "Oh, that's dry as a nun's fanny, really. That is, it's fucking dreadful." I mean, like, that would break me having to sit and do that.
I just had an image of you judging a bake off with just crumbs flying flying out your gob and just huffing at people as they gave you another scone.
Shit.
um, I prepared a little bit of a. We used to do a quick fire questions round, Josh, and I prepared a few. I don't know if Phil does because sometimes Phil does it without telling me. Have you prepared anything
I
yet?
haven't. I did have a question, but we've already covered it.
What was it?
It was about sort of like taking stuff in for the rugby lads, but Josh has already mentioned that he does that regularly already. My other question, Josh, is have you just had random approaches from people now? Just been like, oh, you do cakes, don't you? You know, my daughter's having a third birthday next week. Can you rustle up a frozen Elsa and Anna cake?
Well, the request side of things, I've only really had requests from people that I know, but I have had a lot of requests come in, and I've got to stop saying yes to everything. Because as much as I'd love to do all of them, I genuinely haven't got the time to do it all. So I've got to probably, I don't want to say pick and choose, that sounds nasty, but I've got to say, look, I can't fit everything in.
Yeah, or people just end up with fairy cakes from
Yeah,
Morrison's, don't
exactly.
they? It's
And,
just
and doing it for friends is that I'm not doing it for a money, a financial thing to profit on them, because I just do them because they're my mates and I want or it's their relative, or it's their daughter's birthday or something, and I just love to do it. So wherever I've got the chance to fit some time in to bake them, I will always do it. But
oh,
yeah,
awesome. Oh, I'll keep you in mind because it's my daughter's fourth birthday on the 14th of January. So
It's mine on the 30th of January, so we'll take one cake between
you can share, Tom.
we can share. Yeah, I don't like sharing cake. Okay, so just five quick fire questions. You may struggle to say answers to some of these, but we'll go with it. We'll start nice and easy. Baking or rugby?
rugby
Lovely stuff. Favorite bake in the tent?
in the tent. Oh, the sunflower pies that were week 5, they did taste incredible.
Okay. I
Yeah.
liked the oh no, I'm not even gonna try and say what it was.
I know it's the semi-final one, the puff
Yes.
pastry one. That
Yeah.
that 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 one as well was also lovely.
It was such a nice set of people in there.
Yeah, awesome bunch. Yeah, we got we,
Oh,
we got we got on straight away. I mean, they do it deliberately. They pick 12 people that they reckon are going to get on, and yeah, it's like connected straight away. 12 complete strangers, all have that common love of baking, but yeah, just got on straight away. Really, really good, really lovely.
I think that's a good thing about Bake Off and other sort of reality TV programs have just tried to
do
get
the
contention in the room, haven't they, by putting in a mixture of absolute weirdos. But
Yeah,
they've Bake Off have sort of stick to their guns, and it's about the quality of the bake rather than the characters. Although they do, some characters do appear in it, um, just sort of naturally. Sorry, Tom, it's quick fire in it. My
So
bad.
I got distracted after 2 of 5 questions, so it could be quite a long quick fire round. Um, Noel or Alison?
Noel, I think
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
he?
I'm a massive fan of Noel Fielding.
he's
Is he an absolute laugh?
he's exactly like he is on camera, off camera. He's brilliant. The thing is, what I always found funny. So Alison, because Alison spent her whole time on TV, career on TV. Every time she comes to your bench, it's fantastic, and everything could be used for the show. Whereas Noel, you never know what you're going to get from him. Sometimes he says things which you just know could not ever be aired, but he just says it as it is. So you can probably only use a fraction of his, but he's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
No, that's quite an interesting thing. So I can't remember what I was listening to, but is it? I don't know if you know it's true because it was way before you on Great British Bake Off. But if someone was having a bit of a mini breakdown on the show and they were recording, Mel and Sue would just go and just say like just swear next to them having a breakdown, so they couldn't use it on the show.
Yeah, no, he
This
did.
is
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely class, isn't it?
yeah. No, I remember that now. Yeah.
Love it. I loved it.
Just sorry, Tom. I'm gonna have to go back to Noel Fielding because I'm a massive fan. So when you say like some of the stuff he doesn't use, does he just come out with some of the random crap that he
Yeah.
uses in like the Mighty Boosh, or is it just illicitly wrong?
Yeah, no, well, both. It's just, yeah, it's just you never know what you're going to get from it, but he's absolutely brilliant. And again, he's okay, comedian. So you'll say one thing, and he has an immediate reaction to it that he probably would say if he was having a stand up or whatever. And then you realise actually I can't say that, can I? It's great. It's brilliant.
And this is not one of the quickfire questions, but when you're in them stressful parts of the bake, and I know you signed a contract to be on the show and do the interviews mid-bake, but do you ever just want to go, literally now is not the time to talk to me?
Yeah, you feel that quite a lot. Sort of, yeah. Yeah, what you don't realize is you're talking throughout the entire bake. So what you are, you got Paul and Prue coming over, Alison and Noel, but there's also like a story producer, so you're talking to them all the way through. So yeah, there is a lot of talking involved. The ones that got me is like if something goes wrong, they want to see what's gone wrong. Oh, let's have a look at that bowl then, Josh. What's gone wrong? They're like, no, clear off. I want to bin this. I'm going to start it again. And then, then they're going to say, oh, go on, John, explain to me why did that not work? Like, I don't care. I'm moving on now. I'm doing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that's where I would struggle. Like, I mean, I'm not great in stressful conditions, and someone putting a camera in my face might bring out my slightly negative side.
It is hard. And then things like, every time you want to put something in the oven or out the oven, tell somebody and they're going to come and
So just for anyone who hasn't watched it, Josh, did you make any horrendous faux pas, massive fuck ups? Were there any?
I didn't really. Oh, I had one wobble on chocolate wheat with the tempering, but that was just because it just it made it on camera though I was really stressed. I just sort of like I'll just do it again. But apart from that, yeah, I was pretty chilled throughout really.
We were chilled, but everyone had a bit of a steam pudding issue, didn't they?
Oh, steam pudding, they were dreadful, weren't they?
There
That
was,
was we didn't get enough time, anywhere near enough time. I mean, everybody was raw, but it was so funny.
it was.
So funny. And I was a bit late at turning mine out. So I'd already had everybody else. Everybody turns it out and goes, ugh, and it just pours out. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So mine's going to be like this as well then. And then they had the cameraman, they were running around the tent like, get every single shot. We need to see these raw puddings. And then it comes to me, just turn it out. Ugh. And just an absolute puddle. It was so funny. We were all laughing. Yeah, Paul nearly sent us packing then when he walked in and saw that.
Leads me on to my next one, Paul or Prue.
I think Prue. She's a gem. She really is lovely.
And she knows she's really funny, doesn't she? But she knows she can get away with saying
Yeah.
slut windows, which just everyone going.
Yeah. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, love her. Love her. Is Paul as stern throughout the bake or just when the camera's on? He doesn't like to smile, does he? When you're baking.
No, no, he's not as stern really. He does have a laugh off camera. He's a bit of a a bit more charged. I mean, we have a buggy that it shepherds some of the kit from the tent to the green room, and often in the mornings he's out there on this buggy doing donuts and things because he got a bit of morning dew on the grass. So he's out there with these buggies doing donuts on this in this buggy. We're stressed as hell, sat in this tent waiting for us to get baked, and he's there having a right way of a time.
What do they actually like? Because there's always bits during the series where they kind of like cut to Prue and Paul in another area talking about like the perfect version of what your guys are trying to bake in the tent.
Just another smaller tent to set off.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long are they in there for? Because in my head they're there for like 2 hours and Prue's smashing the prosecco and I guess they're only there for like 15 minutes, are they?
Yeah, I mean, it gets filmed whilst we're baking, so I'm not actually sure how long they're in there, but I can't imagine it's very long. I don't think they bake the one that's in front of them.
No, I would guess not. No, because imagine if Paul got that wrong, he would be fucked.
If they did it to time, they'd have served as swap, wouldn't they? Like we did.
And then in the evenings, then on like the Saturday night, and I know you've got the Sunday morning to follow. Do you all stay in the same hotel or same house? Or?
Same hotel, yeah.
And is that entertaining? Good fun?
Yeah, it's good fun. We have a private dining room because obviously we've got to try and we can't discuss bake-off stuff, so we have a little private dining room to do that in. But yeah, no, it's great. When we go, we have meals to go on the Friday night, Saturday night. So yeah, that's where you got to know them so well. And in the first week of filming, we had the extra day of filming before we actually did any baking. So we actually had quite a few nights there, just sort of like getting to know each other. So that's why you become quite a close knit group.
Yeah, and this is a really harsh one, but I didn't know how to dig into certain personalities without asking this question. Best mate in the tent.
I don't think I'm allowed to say. No, I loved them all. I mean, I've been and met up with Saku and Nikki since because they live Herefordshire way, so they were fairly convenient for me. They're fantastic. I love those two. But yeah, no, they're all brilliant. I'd like to make up with all of them, but Keith's in Portsmouth, Abby's in Cumbria. There's a few in London, so they're not quite as. It's not just an hour or so.
No,
it's a bit more of a trek. Got to plan that one out. But yeah, no, they're all lovely.
Do they do Bake Off reunions? Do they put something together, or is it just off the own backs? I know.
Well, we all met up actually a few weeks back when it was the party week, week 8. We all met up in London for that one together. So that was really nice.
Oh, nice. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Let's finish how we normally finish, Phil, with rugby memories.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
Um,
panic there.
but we could also do the same questions for Bake Off. So should we do Bake Off first?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to go best or worst?
Best.
Oh, sorry, talk to me. Worst.
Right. Okay.
Sorry,
Well,
man.
Josh, what was your worst moment in the tent?
Worst moment. Oh, I didn't enjoy the week 5 pastry technical because yeah, it was a hot day. Pastry wasn't going so well. I had to use blue cheese sauce and things. I don't really like blue cheese. It wasn't enjoyable. Probably that one. But to be honest, there was nothing that was really that bad. Really, that's just the bake wasn't going so well. But yeah, that was probably be it.
Yeah.
As a like a non-watcher, it just sounds like you've pissed through it. If I'm honest, Josh.
Yeah, I was fairly. I mean, the showstoppers. But when you do go and watch it, if you watch the last bake of each episode, pretty much smash all of them. They're
Yeah.
really really good. My showstoppers are good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, in the same light, the best moment in the tent.
Best moment, probably. Well, it could be Paul's handshake in week 2, or probably that semi-final puff pastry one. That was pretty good. Liked that. Prue's comments were good. Really nice for those.
Yeah. What does the handshake feel like? I imagine I thought it would be
Crummy,
really
like crumbs in his.
rough handshake, but I imagine he's actually got quite smooth hands.
Oh, mate, he moisturizes. Hundy.
Yeah, I recall it being quite smooth. It was a delayed handshake, you see. It was the first one ever. He came to my bench to shake my hand. So it caught me off guard because I thought he was coming to tell me off or something because I'd already gone back to my bench and sat back down, just ready for the next baker to be judged. And then he was walking over and thinking, oh God, what have I done here?
Wait, was it was the handshake for?
Biscuit burger.
Yes, it was. Ah, that looked mint.
That was good. I think that's one of the ones I'd like to do that for the rugby lads. Actually, I might do them as sliders, do little burgers or as
Ah,
biscuits.
that's.
That'll be awesome. It'd be a lot of work though, so I've got to
I was going to say,
find when I'm going to have time to do that.
book a week off work and you'll get them all done. Lovely. And then we'll do the same questions with rugby. So, what's your worst rugby moment?
Worst one, I'm going to crack my head. About when was that? About 6. I think it's coming up to 6 years ago. I got someone's knee right there, cracked it down there, cracked like that. Yeah, that was I had a dent there. That was one of those ones like, oh God, what am I going to do here? I'm not going to be able to play again, am I? But yeah,
With greatest respect, Josh, that is not a forehead you can complain about.
yeah, and then they cut from this ear to this ear for the operation, healed my forehead down, back into place, got a titanium mesh there, and then about 60 staples back over the top.
Wow.
Basically, like so when people have a facelift, they do that. They cut at the top and they pull it up like that. But yeah, they cut all the way over the top, peeled it down, titanium mesh, and it's the first they've taken an X-ray, so they got it so the mesh was like it was perfectly symmetrical to what this side is. So they had it ready, prepared for the operation, and then just dropped it in, a few screws, back up again, and then fortunately it was towards the end of the season, so I only missed about 3 games, and I played the summer tournament in July, so it was good. Wasn't too bad.
I mean, between you, we could take you to scrap metal yard and we'll make some money
Yeah,
because you've got
definitely.
metal head as well, ain't you, Phil?
I've got a bit of metal in the old fizzog, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yours, I don't think they did the symmetrical. They've just come down at a right
I
angle.
mean, there is nothing about my body that is symmetrical.
It's so fucking true. He's in terrible shape. I'm bad. All of them. What's your best moment on a rugby pitch?
Best one. It's one of the league wins, I think. Actually, the one just gone was really good one because we've had a couple of barren years where there was some new teams coming into the league and we weren't quite hitting the heights that we used to. But then yeah, we came back and won it this year. So I think that was pretty solid.
Yeah, mint, mint. Well, thanks very much for coming on, mate. I could literally sit and chat about Bake Off and rugby for ages, but I'm sure you've probably got, well, you've got quite a cool job, haven't you, as well? We didn't even get to touch on the science side of life, did we?
Oh no, I don't want to bore you with that.
No.
Yeah, research.
You make it on your Instagram look really exciting. So,
Yeah, well, that's a big part actually of what I would like to do going forward. So I just did my PhD last year and graduated from that. But I would like to try and probably promote the science and the baking together, and try and
That
get
would be cool.
and try and get the younger generation to be bit more interested into science, or vice versa as well. So I think that's probably a good angle for me in the new year. Perhaps even a career sort of like move towards that.
I tell you, I could see you on CBBC, mate. I could see it now on Blue Peter. I'd love that. Right. Thanks very much, mate. It's been a
Right,
pleasure,
pleasure.
and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thanks.
Right.
Bye.